to another edition of the Empower Hour. I am Alqamar. Hanifa had a slight emergency, and she won't be joining us here today, but I am going to be filling in and doing my absolute best in her place. Today we have a very serious discussion to talk to you guys about. In the studio with us, if you are familiar with the Empower Hour, she is no surprise face to you, but she is back joining us, Sister Sudan Muhammad. Thank you so much, Sister Sudan, for joining us once again for this also important topic of discussion, sex trafficking in your neighborhood. And we deliberately put the emphasis on your neighborhood is because a lot of us will see what's transpiring out here in our communities and read about it and watch the news and see all these social media videos and think, wow, too bad for them, or wow, thank God my family's safe, and things of that nature, without understanding that this stuff is really going on right in our own communities, every last one of ours.
That's right.
So you come to shed some light on all of this.
Yes.
And just real quick, briefly, so people can understand who you are, Sister Sudan. How did you get intertwined in this particular this thing, this sex trafficking thing? How is that so prevalent in your life?
Well, let me just say this. Speaking from experience, years ago, back in the 80s, I was a victim of it. Years ago, back in the 80s. So, because I went through that experience, I need to share my story and also to let other women know how you can get caught up in the game, because there's a lot of people in the community that's a part of it. I'm talking about the mothers in the communities, the fathers, uncles, police officers. Everybody is suspect now. So, from my experience, I just want to share what I have to share may save a life. So.
Yes, and we definitely appreciate you sharing. So, have you seen how long have you been working in this field?
Okay. Well, first I want to say the last few years, maybe I'm gonna say about over 10 years ago, my daughter and I would volunteer our services at. This is about maybe 15 years ago. We would volunteer our services at community libraries and stuff. My oldest daughters are harpists, so she would go around playing the harp at certain venues. So I started meeting a lot of people. Then by trade, I'm a licensed cosmetologist. So my daughter, her name is Styles by Indigo. She does hair, amazing jobs. So I said, offer your services in the community at the libraries, and let's start teaching other women how to style their hair. So from doing that, I found out, because when you're a hairstylist, you're really a psychologist. You're talking to people trust you, they open up to you. Well, I'm gonna give you one incident in my community. One day I was in my home, this was many years ago. I was in the kitchen, and the neighbors next door, I heard some ruffling, a lot of noise. I heard a lot of noise, so it called my attention, so I went outside to see what was going on. These guys in my neighborhood during the day was having sex with a girl in broad daylight outside on the side of the house. I was so angry. I think I picked up a...
You said guys, like how many?
It was a line of guys having sex with her outside. Anybody could see. They were on the side of the house. So I brought the girl in the house and I started talking to her, and I'm asking a very attractive young lady, I think she was about 15 years old, what's going on? What are you doing? She said, Miss Muhammad, they're going to get my hair done. So I was like, wow. I already knew women have, did that, because I did hair years ago, and I know what women would go through with just to beautify themselves. They would sell themselves. So when I found out, I told her, I said, don't you ever let me catch you doing that again. So I said, if you ever need your hair done, I'll do your hair. So I kind of networked with the man, one of the guys that was a manager at the beauty supply store. He started giving me products for free if they needed hair weave, whatever they needed, because I told him what happened, and I said, look, y'all making money, you need to get involved with this. And he said, Sudan, He said, he was from the Sudan, so me and him bonded. He said, what is it about these black women that can come in here and spend $800, $900, and $1,000 on weave? He's like, I can't afford that. And I work. He said, he said, you have no idea how much money we're making in this store. And this store was in Marlow Heights Shopping Center.
From And this is in Prince George's County,
Prince George's County, yes.
Maryland.
And he said, you know, these lace fronts, they want the expensive hair. So me and him started talking. We started sharing information. I said, okay, they tricking. Then I started finding out before Bare Feet closed down, there was a section in Bare Feet with those booths that cater to the dancers, the strippers. So then I started finding out that it was a whorehouse in my community, that these women, young women, were coercing or getting these girls into the money game, dressing them up with the hair weave. They would pay $35 right in our community as a cover charge to go into these little clubs to dance. And some of the girls were saying, look, Miss Muhammad, I worked at Giant. I'm not making that much money, but I can make $1,500 or $1,000 in one day. Then the boldness of it, I have to say, I live off of Branch Avenue near Iverson Mall. It's so bold and it's so normalized in our community that you put flyers up for everybody to see that you're hiring strippers, you're hiring people in the porn industry. I have taken pictures of the flyers. I have talked about it. A lot of the young girls are telling me, younger women in our community, look, when we go into these beauty supply stores, you have scouts that's coming into the beauty supply stores and telling these girls that you can make upwards of $2,000 if you do porn. So you have so many girls in our community, I must say, that's now, it's so normalized, they are in the porn industry.
Yeah. And I'm wondering, that's part of my wondering, how did we get here? How did we go from a fairly civilized community to this, to where we can't even allow our children, teenagers, to walk down the street by themselves in broad daylight without fearing that they're going to be snatched up? So you mentioned porn industry. So I'm wondering how, was it because of the things that we normalized, things that soft porn, and playing music about tossing the money up in the air with the strippers and all that kind of stuff, and that we turned a blind eye to all that, and now here we are. Because I heard the Irritated Genie teach on this once, how he said we don't realize that the more you're into that type of lifestyle, the hungrier you become. So you get more and more the desire to go further. First is soft porn. Then you go to harder porn. Then you want something even stronger, and da-da-da-da-da. So now here we are. Would you say that that's accurate?
I would say it is, and also too, it's so many evictions in my community. One day, 18 families were put out. Okay? 18 families were put out. The rent is really high. So one lady shared with me, she was like, look, I work at Giant. My boss, the managers at that store, talk to their employees. I witnessed like they were dirt. I'm trying to work. I don't want to be into this, but I don't make enough money to pay my rent. But if I strip, and see, stripping turns into pornography. I make $1,500, Miss Muhammad. What do you want me to do? Some of the girls, I've talked to young women who fathers have pushed them into that thing. I've talked to young girls that said, I strip, and my father sit outside the nightclub. He collected money. I've witnessed women telling their girls, mothers, bad as your body is, you need to go ahead and get that money. So now here, like you said, normalized. It's normal. It's normal. And then with the media pushing and promoting that somebody paid for their college tuition because they stripped and they paid for their tuition, you're pushing that. You're pushing it. The media, people do a lot of things for likes because we're so invalidated. We are so cut down in our community. We don't speak to each other. I hear mothers calling their daughters bitches, B, shut up. You understand? We just canceled each other out. So it's like one girl said, Miss Muhammad, nobody gives a F about me, so I don't give a F about nobody. I don't even care no more. So care is gone. So somebody that don't care, grandmom said, has no home. It's a lack of care.
No compassion.
It's no compassion. And I'm gonna say this: some of the women or adults my age have become so self-righteous, so judgmental that these girls not coming to you. They're not going to come to you because you, first of all, when you already within yourself feel guilty, you want to punish because you feel guilty. So y'all, some of the adults are looking for people to punish. One lady told me, I'm telling you, a few weeks ago, I brought her to the mosque. This woman told me, and she lives in a shelter, that before I came to the mosque, I was going to the church, and some of the women in the church was trying to have sex with me. I'm telling you how low down this thing is. I said, would you be willing to say that, please? She said, no. She said, I can't. She said, but I went to 2 churches and some of the women tried to talk to me. Then on Branch Avenue, which is a major highway near the Iverson Mall, some of the young brothers that panhandle, and I put these videos out, they shared with me that I'm panhandling, but it's police officers. He said businessmen in nice cars, they come up to me and they approaching me for sex, and that's not what I want. I want to work. I'll cut your grass. I'll do whatever I have to do. I don't want to do this. And they offer me upwards of $500-$600 so they can perform sexual acts on them.
Wow.
I mean, it's just so bad, and I'm full. People have asked me, some of the guys in our community who've been used up, they're so messed up now. You have people that's in that industry, men and women, who are wearing Depends diapers now because they have been totally destroyed. I mean, it's just, I'm trying to be a mom and not mention names.
Right.
Because people, when they trust you, they tell you things.
Right.
But it's just so bad now. It's just,
wow.
It's gotten to.
Well, let's talk about the police scenario, because
Okay.
I know you, I know you can't mention names, and we don't even want you to, to reveal your sources. But you were sharing before we went on air that you have evidence that the police could care less for the most part about all these missing girls that the things that's taking place, and as you know from firsthand knowledge in the police force.
Let me share what happened yesterday. So around maybe it was after 1:40, between 1:40 p.m. and 2 o'clock. I had some passengers in my car, part-time I drive. We happened, while I'm driving, I'm concentrating on the road, I heard the 2 ladies in the back, they had their children, they started screaming. What's going on? I turned around. They said, oh my God, the guy over there is waving a gun. And I'm not sure if it was 3 or 4, but she said that they had 3 boys, I'm not sure if it was 3 or 4, little boys against the wall, and they had backpacks on. And he's waving a gun. Oh my God. I said, I can't turn around because I'm not a police officer. The man had a gun. I said, let's flag down the police and tell him what you saw. We went maybe a block or a block and a half. We saw a police officer sitting on the side. DC police. We flagged them down. I said, sir, these women witnessed something. They saw. So they describing to the officer, down over there by LAX, we saw a man, 51, a man waving a gun, and it was 3 or 4 boys with backpacks on against the wall. They looked scared. They described me. He had a gun. He had these boys against the wall. Now I'm thinking human trafficking. That's what I'm thinking. So the officer said, okay, where? So they described again because they saw more of the detail than I did.
Right.
So I dropped the ladies off maybe a few feet from where we met the officer. So I make a U-turn, I go back, and I did double back to make sure that he saw, because I was going to make sure he knew where these children were. So when I was proceeding to go towards the destination, I saw the officer on the other side coming opposite way, so I waved him down. I said, officer, do you need me to show you? He was like, that's not my jurisdiction, like that. He didn't come for me to say, look, I called it in. He didn't say anything.
Mm.
That blew my mind.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, what am I to learn from this experience? Because I'm always looking for lessons and everything.
Right.
And that just, you don't even care. When I rode back around the area, I couldn't stay there because I didn't see the boys anymore. I didn't see the man, but what I saw was the school bus on the side and children getting off the bus. So they were little children getting off the school bus. I didn't want to stay there because they started looking at me. So I just went away and I did report the incident. But I didn't see any sirens. I didn't hear any sirens. I didn't see any police going back in the area.
Right.
I'm like,
Yeah, just, my own personal scenario, I'm working on getting a community forum together here at the restaurant to talk about this discussion so the community can come together. And I wanted to get some experts out to talk to us about all these missing girls in our community. So I called the police station in their missing units department to see if they could have someone come out and talk, somebody to talk to us about it. And they took my information. They told me they're going to call me back. It's been 2 days. Before I start saying a whole lot of, things, I'm going to give them one more day before I call them back. But yeah, I mean, it's like the urgency of the matter. There is no urgency. There is no urgency.
my neighbor's daughter was snatched. She runs to my home. I said, hysterical little girl crying. What happened? She said it was a man. She said one was driving, and I believe he was in the car because everybody's looking for a van.
Yeah, white van.
Yeah, so that we better be careful with that because a lot of people are part of it. She said one opened the door and the other one came out to try to hold her and put her in. I think it was some type of van or like but it wasn't white.
Mm-hmm.
And the little girl was heavy, so she, by her kicking her legs and screaming, the other children by the school, the elementary school, started coming over. He got scared. He dropped her and he left.
Mm.
But a young man told me in Southeast D.C. while he was waiting on the bus, a van pulled up. He said, grab the girl in the van and kept right on going. The girl was screaming.
Mm.
Another brother told me over there in Marlow Heights, said how these Caucasian men come down in the community. He said they be trying to, he said the first offer is $25 to see it. See, when everybody tell you the same story, somebody's not lying, okay? $25 to see it. He said he told the guy, you better get the F away from me. He went from 25 to 50 to 100, and he kept going. And the guy, I can't say his name, he said the guy so bad he had pulled his piece out and told the man, if you don't get the F away from me, I'm going to kill you. You know? I said, really? He said, and that's what you see. You see them all the time in Marlow Heights, in the poor neighborhood where the $5 movie theater is. Come on. Nice cars. I talked to some of the one security guard over. He said, Miss Muhammad, look at this. Nice cars. You pouring up on the sisters who don't have nothing. Who's eating at Taco Bell's. Who's eating at all these old nasty fast food, dirty restaurants in Marlow Heights. Who have nothing. And you come over there and you pull up on them in these nice cars and you flash money.
Tell us what you told us last time about how you, all growing up, you gave your children money. You didn't let them come out the house without money. And why?
See, these parents, I'm going to tell you, you always telling your children, I don't have no money, I'm broke. Okay. Some heirs are out here in the community. Okay, you broke. But a pimp, somebody got something for them. Not only did I give my children, me and my husband tried to make sure they had money. I taught them how to make money. My daughter went in the kitchen and baked some cinnamon buns. I taught her how to package them up. She made $60 off cinnamon buns.
Come on.
You better teach them how to use their creative mind and instill in them values. Because now, and I'm going to say it again, but I grew up watching Sanford and Son. I don't even know anything about this generation. This generation, everybody's stripping, and it's like they looking at you like what's wrong because it's so normal.
Right.
But I've taught one little girl was she was out there I'm not going to say her name because she's on social media, but me and my daughter taught her how to do hair. And girlfriend is doing a lot of hair now because she got caught up in that.
Mm.
She got caught up in that.
Yeah, that's one of the things from your last visit that I took away with that stuck with me because you know it makes sense. It's like if your child know that they're good, that they can, you know what I'm saying. Of course, you don't spoil your children, but to know that any of their their basic necessities can be taken care of. They're not gonna go hungry, food, clothing, shelter, and maybe even some more in between.
Yep.
Versus a child who don't know where their next meal won't come for, or know that they can't go to their parents for little things that they may like or enjoy, but here's somebody, a stranger, come up to them and offering them same things that they're desiring.
Yep.
And how much easier that would be for a child to go that route versus somebody that they know that, no, I don't need what you give me because my mother or my father can give me all that. So that's an important lesson. It's a simple lesson. It's important though.
It is. You're going to keep telling them. I see little children walking in my community to Dollar Tree to get oodles and noodles because nobody's home to cook dinner for them.
Wow.
I'm talking about little children.
Wow.
Walking up and down. Y'all easy to snatch. What? Little Caesars before it went out of business. The little girl told me, Miss Muhammad, I'm so tired of that $5 pizza. She said, that's all we eat. You walking to get that. The little boy took the pizza and threw it in the street under a car. Said, I'm so tired of eating this stuff.
Wow.
Okay, some moms are struggling.
Yeah.
But some moms wear their money. And you all looking nice. Your children raggedy as hell. They being teased in school. So you are opening the door. You opening the door. See, we not having a real conversation.
That's right.
All this, we understand a black woman is a queen, you the second self of God. That's fine. But what do you do? And we so quick to condemn these girls and look at them. Well, how destroyed is she? That she would sell herself or sleep with herself for nothing. Instead of you condemning, some of us, all we do is condemn each other. And that's why they don't want to have nothing to do with some of us, because that's all we do. When do you get down and try to understand and say, you know what, sweetheart, what's wrong? And then you hear them say, nobody ever gave a F about me, so I don't care. You hear
and
that?
Then you have to ask what is going on with their mother.
Yes.
So it's like, because a lot of times we want to blame the parent
Yep.
for what the child is doing without understanding the parent's journey and struggle.
Yes.
So it becomes like a generational cycle.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what is so? There was a young lady who mother used to have. This girl lived next door to me, so she would be in the house. Her uncle would tell me she had 2-3 guys in the room, so she was tricking in the house.
Who? The mother?
No, the girl, the daughter, the child. She was about 16. She turned the tricks in the house.
Wow.
So her uncle used to come and tell me, what's wrong with the mom? You let her trick in the house. I guess her daughter was giving her mom her cut. So one day, the little girl told me, you know, they had got evicted, and she was real angry. She going off, and I touched her, and I hugged her. And she was like, get the F off of me, and I hugged her. The little girl started crying, and she melted in my arms. And I took her in the house. She said she was hungry, and I gave her something to eat, and we started talking. She said, Miss Muhammad, I'm not going to make it. I'll be dead soon. She said, but your daughter, Indigo, and your other children have a chance they'll make it. Because nobody gives about me. I saw that girl later on. That girl has HIV. And if it's not HIV, it's full-blown AIDS. She looked so terrible when I saw her, and I still gave her a hug.
Young girl.
Young girl.
Wow.
So many of our girls are walking around like lifeless.
Wow.
They are losing hope.
Yeah.
They don't care no more. So these guys, a friend of mine, Maker Taylor, did a raw data survey, went around, what's going on with all these missing girls? And the guy told her off record, for each girl we set up, we get paid $500. So some of these girls with low self-worth going out with these boys, and they think the boys like them, they being set up, and the parents will never see them again.
Wow.
They're being set up.
What do you say to those parents who will say, "Oh, that sounds so sad, but not my child"? Well, thank God, my child I don't have to deal with that with mine.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you see this type of activity taking place outside of the quote unquote bad neighborhoods, or you know?
It's everywhere. My daughter's friend who lives in an affluent neighborhood in Bowie. And I told my daughter, I'm not feeling her. I don't want you around her.
Mhm.
Well, at first, you know, your children are going to resist.
Mhm.
Like they grown, you don't know what you're talking about. So I prayed on it. Now it came out that this girl is so far gone. She's so far out there. She's sleeping with anybody. But they said, Mom, I heard her story. Mother was on drugs. Girl got sold for drugs. Girl has a gash on her body. She won't talk about how she got that deep scar on her body. Hurt people, right?
Mhm.
So you got a lot of hurt black people in our community that we just don't, do we care?
Yeah, I was just talking to one of my nieces the other day. One of my nieces the other day, and she was sharing with me a story about a girlfriend of hers that she was very close with in school, and they hung out and everything. And she got caught up in the sex traffic industry, and we were just talking about it, and she was saying how she had a mom and a dad at home and everything, but she just took that turn. She met a guy who she thought that was going to be, that was cool, and kind of find out he kind of got her hooked up and all that, and now she's missing. Nobody have seen her in like 3 months.
See, that's
so, yeah.
It's so much
so
violation happening at home, and just because somebody lives in a nice house and they have nice material things, you don't know what's going on in that house.
Yeah, true.
So many girls are telling me that their fathers are touching them. You have more mothers touching their daughters now.
Yes.
Mothers touching their son.
Which we don't talk about.
We don't talk about.
We don't. We always hear about the men.
Yep.
We don't hear about where somebody was just telling me that now I saw something online where the old lady is setting women up by letting them smell perfume or something.
Yep.
And then you get lightheaded, and here's some man come up and take over.
Yep.
So she is the bait, an old woman. So like you said, it's who you can't.
You can't trust everybody suspect. What about the lady in Virginia? Lady was telling me yesterday that her friend was in a mall in Virginia, and a woman was following her around, and the woman was so persistent, an Asian woman, trying to get her to go to church, that she had to call her boyfriend. Wouldn't let her out the door, telling her, I'm trying to save your soul. Found out that woman was a part of human trafficking.
Wow. Wow. Now, how about the young girls that's recruiting other girls?
Oh, that's big in high school. A friend of mine said she goes around tutoring children. That's her business. And she said she didn't understand why this girl kept going to her daughter, her 11-year-old. While she was working, she would have her daughter sit at the table, go to the computer. So the little girl kept talking to her. Little girl, not as old as 12, kept coming to her and telling her, do you have an iPhone? Do you have such and such bag? No, I don't have that. Well, I can show you how you can get one if you come with me. Do you know one young lady shared with me that she was in the CVS in Oxon Hill, and the manager did some things to her while she was in the store trying to buy a toothbrush. He touched her and went down her shirt. A little girl, and did some things. And this happened the other day at another CVS with a little girl where she was touched. My daughter was telling me inside of a CVS. So this thing here is just, Sister Alqamar, is out of hand. It's out of hand now. It's out of control. It's so bad that now that people know and it's a topic, it's like they don't care. Yep.
Next.
Yep.
Yeah, because where do we go from here? I mean, where do you go? You talk about a police state and all that stuff. Well, here's what it looks like. Where you know what I'm saying, your children can't even play outside in peace. How is that peace and comfort? And how is that a peaceful existence at all?
It's not.
And how do you turn a blind eye to that? Like none of that matters. And live in a society comfortably. How does that work?
My plumber told me when he came to the house, he said, I was in some house. He said, Miss Muhammad, right down the street from you was a whorehouse. I said, what? He said, yeah. He said, I knew what I was looking at when I was in there. He said, there was a lot of girls in there. He said, and something just didn't seem right. He said, but that's a whorehouse down the street. But again, normalize. Number two, we need to start talking to each other. We need to really start sharing information.
Yeah.
It's not about a degree and somebody but we need a degree of love, understanding, compassion, empathy, sincerity, honesty, just pure love in our community.
Yeah, because that's what I'm wondering. What can be done? What can be done to curtail this type of violence, you think?
We got to share information.
Mm-hmm.
What you know, you share. What I know, you share. What she know, she shares. So we say, okay, well, let's put our facts together. This person ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
Something is going on. We need to really communicate and open the lines of communication. That's how we're going to make it. Another child should not be snatched. On purpose, I ride around in the schools and I look at some of the children to see if they're all right. What's going on? You know what's sad? When some of these mothers are placing their little children in Ubers.
Mm.
Now, I don't know where's the community at where the elder would be standing outside and she was watching and she can tell. Or somebody in the community know Mom work. I got her.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What happened? There's no more community anymore. We don't even know our neighbors.
That's real.
We don't even speak to each other.
Mm-hmm.
See, we're really a part of the problem.
Yes, I agree.
We're really a part of the problem.
I agree. And I think that's another thing we don't do enough of is self-analyzation. We always want to point the finger and make it somebody else's problem.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we are the solution.
Mm-hmm.
So we waiting on somebody else to fix these problems in our community.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, they're going from bad to worse.
Sister, say that again.
Because I'm realizing nobody really I think I am a firm believer there's a lot of people in our community that want that want to do something about the problem, but they don't know what. And they're waiting for somebody to step up first. And what comes to mind, I just heard read a headline just this morning. I forget where, somewhere in North Carolina or somewhere like that. Somebody put a call out for the community to come together about these shootings in the community, or some little boys shooting or something, and like 300 men showed up. So I said, see, we really want to do something, but nobody want to take the first step. And so everybody's waiting around or sitting on their hands and waiting for somebody else to do something that they can latch on to. It's not enough people that's willing to just move on their own information on their own accord.
Or some of us are waiting to be appointed to a post or position for money, for entitlement, for power. All of us are important.
Yeah.
We got to stop that. That's you have the lowest self-esteem when you have to do something for a position, a post, or a title when you know it's a need.
Yeah.
Do good for goodness sake.
Yeah.
For goodness sake.
Yeah.
Not for money, not for accolades, not for applause, not because you want to be the big shot. But all of us have a voice.
Right.
Do something.
Right. I applaud you. You don't have an organization. You're not a nonprofit. You don't have, donation money flooding in your way. You're one individual out in the community. You stay out in the community. I watch you closely, and I watch how you share information. You're always out there talking to people. You're getting the word out. And so I applaud you for doing
Thank
all
you.
that. But like you said, you're not waiting for nobody else to give you
Mm-mm.
no certificate or go through some course or registration. You just out there doing the work because you know there's a need.
That's old school. That's how I grew up. If it was a guy in our community that was a baker, and he would bring home day old bread, he would give it to the people in the community that had children. We knew we can go across the street.
Mm.
When your mother wasn't home, it was always an elder sitting outside. Now, you know I'm going to tell your mother, you know you're not supposed to do that. We need to bring the community back.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's important.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. Instead of these big eyes and little U's, it's not about one person. All of us.
Right.
It's all of us. When a van comes down the street that nobody knows and it doesn't look strange, stand outside.
Mm.
If you want to pull your phone out and take pictures of that license plate.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants to get involved. And people tell me, Miss Muhammad, you need to be careful. Something may happen to you. I said, I'm going to die anyway.
Mm.
I was born October 27th, and God has a date for me to die anyway. I can't escape death. You can't either. But if I can touch one person, if I could save one life, like it was a family. I just want to say this. In my community, you will be surprised who's watching.
Mm-hmm.
So one lady told me one time, she said, Miss Muhammad, I'm going to the store. I'm going to Safeway. I'll be right back. Can you watch my daughter? I watched the little girl. That woman came back 7 months later. I had her daughter for 7 months.
Wow.
Didn't charge her any money. Didn't turn over to the police. I knew that child was traumatized when that mother never came back.
Wow.
Did it again. This time she left 2 children on me.
Mm.
I was homeschooling or having my daughter homeschooled and would leave my house in Oxon Hill to drive all the way to Southeast every day to take them girls to school and pick them up.
Wow.
And I was home with my own. I didn't get any money for it.
Mm.
I didn't get as much as gas money.
Mm.
I didn't get a sandwich, $1. You're supposed to do it.
Did you call Child Protective Services? Nope. Look at there.
And the second child I had, the mother was on drugs. And I had another girl for 13 months.
Mm.
For 13 months. And the neighbor called the police on me. And when the police came, the officer said, why are you calling the police on this woman when she took this child in, had this child all this time, and the child was stable? The mother, they would get her off the steps because she didn't slept with everybody in the community. I'm not trying to make anybody look bad or feel bad.
No judgment.
But the daughter would come outside and have to cover her mother up because her mother was out there naked, where everybody could see. He said, why would you call the police on her? So my home has always been like a home, a welcoming center for children, no judgment. You have rules to follow though. But it's always been like this, and to this day, people in the community affectionately call me Mom. Everybody call me, hey Mom, I'm Mom. We need that mother tone.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to compete with a 20-year-old. I'm not 20. That ship done sailed. I'm okay. I'm the mother. We need the mother tone, and that's what I am in the black community. That's what we need. We need the moms. We need the dads in our community. Know your role.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
Yeah. So basically, I'm hearing you say, just get involved, some way, shape, or form. We all come to this planet with gifts and skills, given to us, gifted to us by the Creator.
Yes.
You know, just whatever your talent and skill is out there, you know, just get involved where you see a need.
That's right.
Who are your biggest supporters right now? Who can you pick up the phone yourself and call on to be there to kind of, you know what I'm saying, be your back or stand with you or go with you to these places and that you go to?
There are sisters and there are people that I call and I say, look, I want to set up something. I want to actually, you know, when I do things in the community, I want to serve. There are people who will say, I like to cook. To me, there's nothing like a home-cooked meal. I grew up, grandma, boy, you want her food. So if I want to prepare food, there are some people who don't want me to mention their name, and I can call them, and they are right there to help out. They're sisters. They're people in the community. I want to do something for these girls. Okay, a lady needed a pair of shoes.
Mhm.
I didn't have the money to get her shoes because I still have children and my responsibility. I shared it with somebody. I put it out there. Such and such needs shoes. What size do they need? They get the shoes.
Mm.
That's the network.
Mhm.
And that's why Allah said in the Quran that the unseen was more powerful than the seen. There are unseen forces that say, I'll say somebody needs groceries. Mothers in the house, their gas may be shut off or the electric. What do you need? We'll put our coins together and help them. I'll pay the bill though. I'm not giving you the money.
Right.
I'm not giving you the money. We'll pay the bills. We'll make sure that that family has enough food in the house so those children can have a decent lunch.
Right.
Instead of drinking that tap water, I'll bring cases of water. Just little stuff like that. I'm not Will Smith where I can offer somebody a home
Right.
or a car, but I can make sure you eat.
Right.
And I can provide a listening, non-judgmental ear for you.
Right. Right.
I'm here. I can mediate between you and your mother if you want to talk.
Right. It's the little things.
It's the little things that mean a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How can people support you? Do you have like a Cash App or?
Mm-hmm. I have Cash App, which is the money sign Sudan Muhammad.
Okay.
I have Cash App. I have PayPal.
And Sudan is spelled just like the country.
Mm-hmm.
Sudan Muhammad.
Yes, Sudan Muhammad. I have that. I have a PayPal under my name, Sudan Muhammad. Just.
And you don't ever ask. You know, I always have to put that out there. You don't ever have. You don't ever ask. But I think that there are community members out there watching somewhere far away, and you know that's what they can do. They can do to help. You know, and the help comes in a lot of different ways.
Yes,
you don't
it does.
necessarily have to be physically out there like you are. But if you know you have some resources and you know that can be helpful to the cause, help, given that capacity, because like that's part of the network.
Yes.
That's part of you could also be part of that network, that unseen force.
Unseen force, yes.
Yeah, that can sometimes be the difference between life and death.
Yes.
Sometimes, just based on what you've given.
You said life and death. I'm going to share this with you. So a lady called me, a young lady, and I wasn't going to take the call because I was talking to my husband, so I'm going to say take the call. And she told me, if you didn't answer this, she said, I need somebody to talk to. She was crying. I said, come on over. She said, if you did not take my call and talk to me, she said, the first person that walked past me that even looked at me wrong, I was going to kill them. I need somebody to talk to. And she was so in so much pain in her personal life and her family life. That's not the first time that happened. People are in pain, and some people just want somebody to listen.
Yeah.
They don't want money.
Yeah.
They need your opinion. They need you to listen. And when you listen to people and they know you love them because it's an energy, they are open. They are open to take your opinion or your advice.
And that's therapeutic.
Yep.
Tell them how important it is to be that listening ear without all the judgment. How important is that to somebody who's already filled with pain? They already going through it. They just need somebody to just feel them for a moment. But they come to you, and all you have in return is what you should have done is this. What you need to do is that. Just stop doing this, and you know what I'm saying. Tell us what you think. Based on your opinion and perspective.
You know, I was talking to a young man.
Why isn't that helpful?
You know, I was talking to a young man today, and he was in so much pain. He was crying. And I didn't say anything, I listened. And he was so angry, and I said, you ready to listen now? He said, yeah, ma'am, I'm ready to listen. I said, change your language. I hear a lot of hate in what you're saying. Change your language to say, Don't say you wasted 4 years of your life or you wasted this. Say, I experienced this.
Mm.
I said, because if somebody go to college for 4 years, they didn't say they wasted 4 years. It was an experience. It was a learning lesson. What did you learn from that experience?
Mm.
And if you don't learn from that lesson, you have to repeat that class over again.
That's real.
And man was talking like that, and he said, that made so much sense. I never thought of it like that. He was like, thank you.
Mm.
He said, thank you. I really appreciate you.
Mm.
Just little things.
Mm-hmm.
And I let this person talk for 30 minutes. They needed to. And I acknowledged, I listened, and I gave that person my undivided attention. And when that person left me, their energy, spirit raised. It was, you could feel it rising, and they just, so I never thought of it like that.
Wow. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because that we do have a tendency of doing that. We have a tendency of trying to force other people into our shoes.
Mm-hmm.
And so every last one of us have a unique experience. We travel different paths in life. We have different upbringings.
Mm-hmm.
You know, your mother wasn't like my mother. You know what I'm saying?
That's
so
right.
we can't expect to think and behave and react to situations the same.
That's right.
But a lot of times, if somebody don't react the way I would, we're judging them.
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't they should have did that? They stupid, they dumb. You know what I'm saying? But without understanding that the journey is different. So that's, I think, is why it's so important, like you said, to listen.
To listen.
Because you can better understand people and their way of thinking when you listen to them and hear them out.
Especially when somebody is in a life or death situation.
Yeah.
Sometimes they need somebody because they're about to hurt somebody. You could be that person that they walk past. They're about to hurt somebody because they're in so much pain. We invalidate each other constantly, again, in our community. You say you ever had oh, your head don't hurt. How do you know?
I get that a lot.
How do you know? Oh, you'll be all right.
Yep.
You don't care nothing about me. Did you say, like, somebody sat in my car one day and she had a terrible cold, and the lady said, you need to stop eating all that junk. Then I said, do you see the white trails in the sky? Those are chemtrails. And they release a poison when it comes down. It's barium, manganese, and it breaks your system down. And I went into it. I said, get a chance, go pull up chemical trails and go study what they're doing. I said, study chemical and biological warfare.
Come on.
See, instead of you tearing her down, because maybe that's all she can afford. It's bigger than what she's eating. Look what's coming down. Look what's the air is bad, the water's bad.
It's real.
Then I told her, I said, look, do yourself a favor. I said, get some ginger, some fresh lemon. I said, and I was telling her how to mix it up and shave it. That will help you to feel better. Because she said, I had a cold I couldn't get rid of. We got to help each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got to help instead of tearing people down. We tear each other down. Or one lady was listening to these young women talk, and she kept saying, my daughters are virgin, and my daughters don't do this. Like, hell, you don't know what them girls were doing. But who are you to come in that manner to these girls who might have had a mother that was a stripper?
Right. That's my point.
Well, I mean, why
know the
would you do
backstory.
that? Why?
Yeah.
You have an opportunity to help somebody. You want to talk about your daughters? Who gives a damn about your daughters? It's not about your daughters. It's about them.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the ego and the arrogance
Yeah.
of how we behave.
Yes.
And it's so disconnect. It's like a disconnect. It's like you said, it's like, how are you so wrapped up in your own self that you can't see somebody else is hurting here? But you want to talk about the glorifications of your children, meanwhile somebody right in front of you in pain.
And I have to say this, somebody was saying, well, Sudan, you know, you did this and that with your children, this and that. So what? I said, you don't know how ignorant I was. You don't know my journey. You don't know how much self-hatred I had. You don't know that I was so hurt from what happened to me. I said, carry a blade that I let rust and sharpen and I was waiting on the first person to cut. You don't know I was so angry with my life and what happened to me. I was violent, looking to fight. You don't know where I overcame. So why are you giving up on her when God didn't give up on me? Why are we giving up on each other? You don't know my journey.
Yeah.
You don't know my journey.
That's a real good
So
point.
why are you doing that? I understand her because she was me a couple years ago. That's why I want to help somebody without judging them. I told one girl she slept around, and she was feeling bad because she slept and they was calling her hoes and this and that. I said, pick your head up. I said, do me a favor. If God wake you up tomorrow morning, He forgave you. Throw what you did in the sea of forgiveness. If you're not going to return to that, I said the worst thing that you can walk around and carry is guilt. I said I carry guilt for years. I said leave it alone and do yourself a favor. Write every day, I'm forgiven. I am forgiven. I'm forgiven. You have to keep saying that. I said write it. Say, what does it say? Make it till you fake it. Fake it till you make it. Just keep saying I'm forgiven because God forgave you. And I said, then you go back, and when you are in the healing process, we all in the healing process, go back and help somebody else who overcame that.
Yeah.
A woman who waited till she got married and gave herself to a man who might have been in a protective environment, and now she's pregnant, I said, with a child. I said, she may not produce a child that this woman will produce because a man got her pregnant. She don't have nobody to help her. She may be in a state of prayer, always praying to God. That's God's child right there. You don't know what she's carrying in her womb because she's so insecure. All she have is God. So I said, why don't you stop talking about my daughter waited till she got married? I don't like that kind of stuff. I just don't like that kind of talk. And I'm very vocal when it comes down to that.
I love it. I love it. How did you come out of that so strong? How did you heal? I know like you said, we're all still in the process, but you clearly is in a much better place today than it sounded like you were prior to be able to come out and actually help others. What was the process for you to be able to come to a much better place in your life?
When I went through what I went through with and felt like I was nothing, because to be trafficked, to be gang raped, I know what that feel like. To feel like you're not, you feel like you're nothing. Nothing. And one day, what was a changing point for me, as I told a guy, and that man cried for me, and I was in awe that somebody cried for me.
Wow.
That was a game changer. And he cried for me because I was so numb. He's listening to me tell a story, and he could feel how numb I was. He cried for me so bad, I had to console this man.
Wow.
That was it.
What did that do to you or for you when you saw that? I mean, how did that change your perspective?
I saw men as human beings and
Wow.
not as beasts.
Wow. Was he a man close to you?
He was a friend of mine, never touched me, never disrespected me. He was very compassionate. His name was Keith, and this was years ago. And that was the first person that cried for me.
Wow.
And that was it. And then I started changing. My heart started changing because I was cold. Certain conditions and things that happen to you, experiences, if you're not careful, you're not going to learn from it. It'll make you cold. Like, I'll say that movie, The Joker. Constant invalidation, beatings, canceled out. You're either going to be a cold killer or you're going to be a savior. So I was like, I don't want to be like that. I know what it's like to be hungry because I was homeless. So I said one day when I was sitting in the park and I was homeless, and I never forget this white man had ate some pizza. I don't know if it was pepperoni or not. And I remember I can draw the white paper that it was on. I could draw the edges. I could draw the teeth marks around the pizza. And I wanted to get that plate out of the trash, but I didn't want anybody to know I was homeless. So I looked at it and I didn't take it out because people started throwing more trash over it. And I sat in the park and I asked God, if you deliver me from this, I'll never forget. And that's why from my kitchen, and God knows, we have fed thousands of people from my kitchen. I like, my daughters help me prep and they cook, but I like to cook the food because my love, my spirit, my energy has to go into that food. It has to go into it.
Wow. Wow, what a story, Sister Sudan. This is the Empower Hour. We've been talking to Sister Sudan Muhammad. She's a community activist here in the DMV area because she gets around D.C., Maryland, and Virginia. What would you say is the greatest need out there when you're out there talking to people or interviewing folks? What do folks need more so than anything else, you think?
A listening ear, compassion, empathy. Don't talk to people because you need them to do something for you. Or I need you to come to the mosque. That's fine. We understand that. Or I need to take a picture with you so people can see I'm out here. No. People read that. They can feel that you care. Empathy, love, compassion. That's what's missing. That's what's missing. We have a lot of educated people with degrees. But having a degree doesn't, what does that say about your character? That you could be smart on the books and you could be just as wicked and just as nasty, unapproachable, you know. But people need that. Just a loving, I'm not saying going with somebody neither, because I don't walk with nobody. If I serve is in a business, because you can't trust people today. But in that setting that I'm in that business, or where I'm at out in the opening, where everybody can see you have my attention. I'm not going to cut you off, because you need to say this. And you need to know that there are human beings out here.
Well, family, again, we've been talking to Sister Sudan Muhammad, and she does have a cash app. She never asked for anything. I'm asking on her behalf that you guys support her. She's always giving of her time, energy, effort, money, food, to people who are most in need in our community. So if you're out there and you can't get to her physically to help her drop a few bucks in her Cash App account. And that's $ Sudan Muhammad, right? $ Sudan Muhammad on the Cash App or PayPal. We also want to share with you the Black and Missing Foundation. There's some missing girls that you can go to their website to see the postcards of the most recent faces of our missing. So they have maybe about 15 pictures of different people of color. I don't really like that word, but for the sake of using it, people of color, young, old, male and female, on their website. Just go there real quick, and it's blackandmissingfoundation.com. We'll Google them and it'll come right up. And take a really strong, hard look at some of these faces and get them in your head, because you never know when you can be out and about and stumble across one of these faces and they need you to spot them in the crowd. And we're working on getting Sister Derica Wilson also on the program to talk to us. And we will keep you posted as well if you are in the DMV area. We're going to be doing a community forum in a few weeks to talk more about this issue, to tell, to educate the community on what they can be doing more to assist those in need. How can we give our children some self-help skills, to help some safety skills, to help them out there, and heaven forbid if they come across some evil people, that they need to, take matters into their own hands, and some things that they can do. So we're working on putting a community forum together to talk about that as a community. So stay tuned. We'll keep you posted on that as well. Thank you for joining. We ask that you share. This is an important program. We ask that you share this program far and wide, so more of us can get a better grip on what's going on. And until next week, family, take care of each other out there. Peace.